When it comes to XRP, if we're anywhere close to the kind of money being discussed, I'm just being real. I wouldn't feel comfortable keeping it on a phone or even in a cold wallet. And honestly, I don't think most people would either. That's exactly why I teamed up with iTrust Capital. Through them, I get institutional level custody at no extra cost. Plus, I can hold my XRP inside an IRA. On top of that, I've got access to a premium custody setup. The only fee? Just 1% per trade. It's honestly a no-brainer. And fingers crossed they start offering yield on XRP soon. I believe in it so much. I even helped my mom set up her own account. The official channel dad is in too. Tons of my family and friends are getting on board. Funny enough, I was in Whitefish, Montana last week talking to a buddy who lives there about XRP and boom, he signed up with iTrust Capital. If you're interested, you can grab a $100 funding bonus using my promo code. Just head over to it rustcapital.com/XRPArmy. Personally, I think institutional grade custody is going to be essential. The market might be slow right now, sitting around $3.9 trillion, but don't sleep on the infrastructure. But it's not going to be boring for long. We're getting to something very interesting today. A few things. White House report will be released to the public this Wednesday. Paraphrased, this won't stay dull for much longer. Things are about to get really intriguing. There's a lot to cover. The White House is set to make its report public this coming Wednesday. And yep, that report drops tomorrow. So let's break down why this matters. The Trump administration is set to unveil its very first national crypto stockpile report, which will finally give us a look into the government's digital asset strategy here in the U.S. This includes details about the strategic Bitcoin reserve and the broader digital asset stockpile, made up of crypto the government has seized through enforcement actions. Investors are laser-focused on this because it might reveal just how much Bitcoin Uncle Sam is sitting on. Plus, the report could touch on possible policy changes, like tightening national security measures or rethinking crypto access to banking. We're also bringing back Jordy Visser for his take. And just a heads up, this report might not just be about Bitcoin. Other digital assets could be in the spotlight too. We already know that Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Solana, and Cardano have been mentioned, potentially as part of the government's digital holdings. But the big question is, are there other cryptocurrencies being considered for inclusion? And when it comes to those 5 specifically, what led to their selection? Well, to start, the structure of the Strategic Digital Reserve was intentionally built around Bitcoin's unique status. It's fundamentally different from other digital assets. Unlike most, Bitcoin isn't a security. It's classified as a commodity. As David often puts it, Bitcoin had an immaculate conception. There's no central issuer, no company behind it. It holds intrinsic value, and it's been widely accepted as a trusted store of value over time. So when we put together both the digital assets national stockpile and the strategic reserve, we wanted to make a clear distinction, especially around Bitcoin's role in the ecosystem. Now, the reason we initially focused on those 5 tokens, Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Solana, and Cardano, is simple. They have the highest market caps in the space, but that doesn't mean we're closing the door on innovation from other projects. In fact, it's quite the opposite. We want to encourage growth and experimentation across a wide range of blockchains. Bitcoin might be the odds, the bedrock of this entire space, but we also know that the future is about building, expanding, and creating meaningful technology that empowers Americans. That's one of the main reasons we wanted to emphasize the digital asset stockpile, to reflect that broader vision. Now let's talk about something that's got the XRP community fired up. Phil and Don Kwok from EZ8. These guys are showing up exactly when we need them. This is what the XRP army has been waiting for. I mean, if you've been here long enough, you know the names. Myself, Brad Combs, and plenty of others who've believed in XRP since day one. We saw the potential when no one else did. Well, besides the XRP army, of course, we weren't afraid to speak on what we thought XRP could become, even when it sounded wild. We stood by those bold predictions, even through bear markets, hate, and nonstop criticism. We never lost confidence. Not once. But yeah, let's be real. The XRP community got split. You had a vocal group of so-called developer elites, the toxic types who came after anyone that dared to be optimistic about price. Truth is, they didn't understand what they held. Many of them were driven by ego, negativity, and personal issues. They dragged down conversations and tried to silence those of us who spoke with conviction. We ignored them because we knew. And now, finally, we're seeing real builders enter the space. People who believe in development and price potential. That balance is something we've needed for a long time, and now it's happening. So yeah, I'm going to say it clearly. I believe XRP could hit $1,000 by 2030. This isn't just another project. This is one of the most important innovations happening right now. Let me play a longer clip to give you the full picture. But before I do, remember this. XRP was built to strengthen the US dollar, to move us beyond the outdated petrodollar system. For years, we tuned out the crypto cops, the negativity, and the noise, and told you the truth anyway. Having conviction early on isn't easy, but good thing we didn't care what they thought. Now, here's the full clip. We're extremely bullish on Ripple and XRP, mainly because of the progress they've already made in traditional finance. They've been working hard to secure licenses around the globe, so they're positioned to own the space. Once institutions fully move into blockchain, and they already are, just look at the momentum with stable coins. Ripple even has their own, our LUSD. We've started educating our community about it, and we love the mission. Just look at their recent Hidden Road acquisition. It's a perfect example of how they're setting up real-world utility on the XRP ledger. Faster, cheaper settlements, cross-border payments, and beyond. In our view, Ripple is going to be one of the defining companies of the next decade. And for the first time, I'll say it. I believe XRP is going to $1,000 by 2030. So yeah, the adults are officially in the room. And to all the complainers and critics who mocked high price targets, this is your wake-up call. If you've done your research, if you've taken the time to understand what you're invested in, then don't let the doubters shake your conviction. Stand firm. Keep believing. A lot of the pushback we've seen over the years, honestly, it usually goes deeper than just crypto. Many of these critics are dealing with personal baggage, and whatever the topic is, they'll find a way to make it toxic. Now let's talk about Dom. He put it perfectly. Wall Street is about to run on crypto, a day for the history books. They even shot a cinematic video with music playing over it. I can't play the audio here, but the message on screen says it all. Soon, all of this will be crypto. And I've said this time and time again, and I'll keep saying it. Crypto is the one asset class designed to consume all others. It's not just a trend. It's not a niche. It's the future, and it's going to reshape the entire financial system. I said it before. These guys are calling for $1,000 XRP by 2030. And guess what? Those bold XRP army predictions that used to sound crazy don't seem so far-fetched anymore. We're talking about people with serious credentials. Dom worked at Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, and earned his degree from Wharton. His brother, educated at the University of Cambridge, a licensed attorney with degrees from Cambridge, BPP, Law School, and Stanford University. Let's be real. These aren't some random internet speculators. These are sharp minds with elite backgrounds. They've done the research, they understand the space, and they're bullish on XRP. These guys aren't just making noise out of nowhere. They're deeply connected, and they're regularly inside Ripple's offices. So when they talk, it's coming from a place of insight, not speculation. And Zach Rector broke it down brilliantly. He laid out the actual capital inflows required for XRP to hit big milestones. For $100 XRP, we'd need somewhere between $11 billion and $58 billion in net inflows. For $1,000 XRP, it's roughly $118 billion to $589 billion. Those numbers might sound massive, but they're not unrealistic, especially when you zoom out and look at global capital flows. Zach kept things conservative, using market cap multipliers of 100 and 500 to model both scenarios. No hype, just straightforward math. So I went over to Grok and asked, Let's assume XRP hits $1,000 by 2030. What would the price look like at the end of each year leading up to that? Here's what Grok spit out. 2025, $20. 2026, $46.962027, $110.26. 2028, $258.892029, $607.87. 2030, $1,000. That's a logical ramp up. And if we follow this trajectory, we're right on track. Now, here's a powerful point made by Charles Hoskinson. And whether he was talking about A-Day, it absolutely applies to XRP too. He said, why not just convert all your ADA to Bitcoin? The answer? Because we're not here for smaller returns. ADA, and by extension, XRP can massively outperform Bitcoin. Think about it. If Bitcoin hits $1 million, that's what? A 10x from here. But ADA or XRP, those can still run 100x, maybe even 1000x. This whole just stick with Bitcoin narrative ignores the bigger picture. Cardano and XRP too aren't second-class assets. These platforms are building way more complex systems, and as Charles said, Cardano might even become Bitcoin's DeFi yield layer. Yeah, they're not going to like that one bit. And here he's breaking it down, what he calls the Giga Chad bull run. He was asked whether the classic 4-year cycle is still in play, and his answer, not even close. This isn't your typical crypto cycle. We're in new territory, and according to him, we're nowhere near the top yet. Once regulatory clarity is passed, the Bag 7, the world's biggest institutional players, are going to flood into crypto. You're going to see stablecoin issuance explode, crossing $1 to $2 trillion, and the entire crypto market cap is expected to surge past $10 trillion. That's why he calls it the Giga Chad bull run, because this time it's not driven by retail. It's being powered by institutions, hedge funds, and serious capital. This isn't about hype anymore. The money is too big, the momentum too real. There's no stopping this bull run now. Man, what a day this has been. Paul Barron just dropped an entire segment covering JP Morgan versus Ripple and what he's calling Choke Point 3.0. It's all coming together now, a wild mix of ETH-gate, Choke Point 2.0, and now the latest version. The pressure hasn't stopped, but at this point, everyone's starting to wake up. Let me break it down. JP Morgan was behind Mt. Gox's Bitcoin banking. They were already working with Ethereum before it even went live. In 2017, JP Morgan visited Ripple's office. In 2020, the SEC drops a lawsuit on Ripple. ETH-gate starts getting exposed. JP Morgan partners with Ethereum, untouched by regulators. Meanwhile, Ripple's been under fire from every direction. Lawsuits, silence, and a near-total media blackout. From 2017 to today. But despite all that, Ripple's still here, still building, still pushing forward. And here's something wild to consider. If XRP hits $1,588, Ripple's total valuation, including its XRP holdings, would actually surpass JPMorgan's market cap, which sits around $677 billion. Let that sink in. That's just 5x from the current XRP price of $3.17 as of July 28, 2025. How about them apples? There's so much more to cover on XRP. We're about to dive deeper in the private group. Head over to diexrp.com if you want to join the Patreon, or just hit the join button under any of my videos. Also, you can now subscribe on X, formerly Twitter, if that's your vibe. And just a reminder, this is not financial advice. This content is for entertainment purposes only. If you found value today, smash that like button, subscribe, and share this video with your friends and family. Let them know the XRP revolution is here.